Well, as you know, Scotland is the land of magical things. And there's a thing in Scotland called, it's not really, there's a thing in Scotland called an electric bray. And a bray in Scottish means a hill or a slope. And on an electric bray, it appears, and I've been on one once, I think there are two, at least in Scotland, perhaps in other places too, it appears as if you are rolling uphill. You take the handbrake off, as you'll see in a moment, it appears, I don't know if it's so clear on the video, but in real life, if you were there, it would appear as if the car or anything else on wheels would roll uphill. It's called an electric bray, an electric slope. Have a wee look. So, you know, it kind of looks like that's downhill going forward, isn't it? But it's rolling uphill as it goes back. Let's see, that's the magic of Scotland. That's why you have to go. The weather doesn't look that great though, does it? Well, of course, it's not really defying gravity. It reminds us, doesn't it, that appearances can be deceptive. An electric bray doesn't really have things rolling uphill. It just seems that way. And Jacob is suffering from, as is his brothers, I think, as we'll see later, a problem of misperception. Remember what Jacob said at the end of last chapter? He said, everything is against me. And presumably that would include God himself. God is against me. Really, Jacob had no idea that, of course, everything was working for him and not against him, but we shouldn't be too hard on him because he can't see what we can see. We know the end of the story. And as far as things look to him, appearances, it looks like he's lost his favorite son Joseph over 20 years ago. It looks like he's maybe losing another son, Simeon, in prison in Egypt. And if he releases Benjamin, he thinks he might lose him too, little Benjamin, his favorite, his new favorite, I suppose. So it does look like he's losing his family. And no wonder, in a way, he says everything is against me. But we know, don't we, that that's a deceptive appearance. The reality is very different. Jacob is in a bad way. He's in I guess we might call it a depression. And he's been that way for some time, maybe for some years. Many folks, maybe anyone who's lost a child or thought that they have, Jacob thought he'd lost Joseph at age 17, would take a long time to recover. That's very natural. It's a very, very sad thing to lose a child. And so he's stuck in this this depression, this despair, this misery, this melancholy for a long time. And as Andy said last week very helpfully, that can be quite normal for Christians. Christians suffer depression and difficulties and troubles like everybody else. And maybe they can be even more intense through the work of Satan perhaps, or through Christian persecution